immediately I get that. Or you could call it as cognitive way of passing on that information. So the future lies pretty good. So if your roles can be slightly tweaked to add this new skill set, or you can say digitally native kind of skill set that what Vivek was mentioning. Can you transfer your skill set a little bit on the digital side? I think you can provide solutions for business people like me pretty fast, because the way we are looking at it is the business is changing. Can you adapt quickly and come with the answer, or can be futuristic on it? Normally what happens is we see the problem and then we invest on the knowledge management activity. We see an issue. Right now I'm saying that the barriers, business barriers are going up, but each country putting more tax, so we need to reorganize the way we are going to manufacture products across the globe. Now we are thinking of how do we do certain things faster, because we just need to do also knowledge management of how the products are made across the globe. So I feel that there's a big opportunity going forward for all of you to change your skills a little bit. In short, in silos we do well, but when you connect, we are not doing well. That's what I feel.
Can I check? I just want to bring us back to the family again. Yeah, I think when we go back to the family, it's easy for us to remember certain things in our life experiences. Now, Subhash shared about learning, and I want to bring it a bit to married life. Yeah, so it's good to know what your wife wants. It's important to know what your mother-in-law wants. Yeah, but what you know is actually what your mother has taught you. Yeah, so now bring that into your organization. You have what school has taught you. You got what theory has taught you. It's good to know what the KM department needs to do, but it's important to know what the boss wants. Right? So when you talk about the value, when you talk about what is the value that you bring to your organization, or how do you make KM valuable, then in terms of the business, right, there's just three keywords. It's all about productivity, efficiency, and effectiveness. And we talk, and Vivek talked about this. He wants to know what's the ROI. He's speaking with the sales cap and with the boss's hat on, right? Show me the money, because chances are, any one of us, many of us here, your boss is not KM trained, right? That's why he employed you, right? So you have to speak his language. So productivity is time and cost. Is there savings in time? Is there savings in cost? And then efficiency is your work processes. Have you got an improvement in your work processes, right? And effectiveness is, of course, are the changes or the implementations that you have done making impact. Now, that's what's in it for me, for the boss. So what's in it for me, for everyone else, from you sitting in the aircon management seat to the last man on the ground who is building the road on the street, right? And that comes to one point called recognition. So the recognition of his contribution to the KM value, which may have given you a new innovation context, and therefore you recognize him. It was this fellow on this ground who had this issue, recorded this learning, and you have improved it here. So when he recognizes it, and when the others actually see that, hey, he was recognized for this, the learning breaks the barriers. Then you have seamless, right? And the recognition is to the self, and the recognition of him being part of the organization. Now that gives us that holistic approach of how my contribution made a change in the way that our company moved. Your question basically was, what are organizations doing? So I'm going to share a bit about what we do in the agency I'm at. To make, they don't have a KM program. We have nothing called KM, right? What we have is, we have the SMEs, we have mentoring, we have coaching, we have learning and sharing, and we have how we do incentives. Now, you've heard this from every insurance consultants that you have. Now, learning and sharing is the most interesting part, because this is a challenge sometimes. Now, I closed the case that gave me $1 million. And the minute I close it, within the following Wednesday, there will be a sharing session that I will share how I closed it, because I want all my partners to close it as well. So that is the culture that has been created. It comes back to what Vadim shared this morning. That culture of co-creation. How can we co-create this together? Now, in many terms, we have this. We have heard this term many times. Cross-pollination, and that is how we are breaking silos. Right? We cross-pollinate. So if there's one division within the organization which is going to have this, we'll make sure that there's someone else. It's an open invitation. Anyone from any division can come in and sit in. We use a tool, KM tool, and I thought I spent some time talking a bit very quickly about what KM tools there is. And the simple tool that we use is actually a mind map. If you get everyone to put a mind map on a whiteboard and tell us where their pain is, one way or another, they will be able to make out a spider web of your pain was actually somebody else's pleasure or something like that, or a boom for him. And then he will know that, hey, what I did actually caused this, caused that, and immediately they'll be able to see the relationship, and you have just cross-pollinated, and your objective or your resultant now is a co-created answer. And that's how the business will look itself beyond silos. The silos would have been broken, and that's where they'll start to grow together. Yeah.
Ramesh, a few comments on how you perceive value.
It's a good time to ask this question, right? It's like budgeting season right now for the next year. It's the question that comes. Before I go into that, I'll share another one. A friend of mine used to did his PhD in one of these sort of science institutes in India. So what happens there is you have these large amphitheater kind of places, and all the PhD scholars, as part of your sort of PhD process, you could go and do a dissertation. So at any point in time, you go there and there are this bunch of young people, sort of sweating through theoretical physics or advanced maths or whatever, and putting up theories and so on. And there would be profs who would walk around, who can drag anybody. So you can walk into any of these amphies. You don't have to know anything about what the guy is presenting. You can go in and ask this question, which is guaranteed, which is, what happens if theta tends to infinity, right? So you can always ask that question going in. ROI is a question like that. You can go in and ask any function and you can trip them up, right? They can send you on a trip saying, what's your ROI? And the KM function goes on a trip trying to answer that question. So I'll share an example on how not to do it, which is what we did, and I'll share that example with you. So we asked this question, right? So we are from delivery. KM gives us a lot of work to do. So we asked them, so what's the ROI? And off they went, and they came back with a very complex formula called knowledge index. So this is what engineers do, right? So they come up with something called knowledge index. And how do you compute this knowledge index? It's based on a complex formula, right? On number of content items that are there, the number of people who are logging in, and how often they use it, and what's the sharing, and etc., etc. And this is a complex way of doing it. And they said, now you know what, this is the knowledge index. And here is your project, which had schedule overrun, effort overrun, margins. And now look at this, like there is this correlation. The projects which had high knowledge index magically had sort of lower schedule overrun and better margins, right? And it didn't take us much from delivery to dismiss that and said, absolutely not. It's not because of the knowledge that, we delivered this project. So after all the hard work, we kind of poo-pooed the whole idea. So not the way to do it, in the sense that, KM serves like an efficiency thing. And if you chase that to prove ROI, it's not going to work. We'll always find ways in which we can sort of demolish your theories. Where the better way to look at it is to look at value. Look at something called intellectual capital and say, is something like that getting created in the organization? And what does the organization possess as intellectual capital? And do you have that? And that might wake up your management saying that, do we have enough of this? And so if you try to sort of shift the question, right, shift the space of discussion and take it there, and that might give you, wake up your management, make them think about, so what is the intellectual capital that my company has? And then, how can KM help to sort of strengthen that? And that may help you win the ROI battle.
Thank you, Ramesh, and rest of the panelists. So he just eased the process of KM practitioners, especially from service industries, that don't create a KM index. They wish probably there were more business stakeholders like you, and obviously you will provide the right budget in mind for KM, right? So okay, we have around 6 to 7 minutes now. Let's open it up to questions from the audience. I can see one hand going up later. Can we have the mics?
Neerja from Wipro again. I have a question for Subhash Kare. You said invisible automated KM. Invisible automated KM, don't you think this will also invite the question on security breach? Like information security is that they work behind behind the curtain and no one comes to know. They manage everything. If automated invisible KM will be there, the information or the knowledge which is supposed to be shared or to be collaborated amongst will be restricted to a closed user group. Will that be a KM?
Yeah, that's a relevant question. Now, the question is who decides which information should be secured and not shared and which should be shared? Employees? Business leaders? Can't KM decide that? Can't KM have that much intelligence to decide that on their behalf? If KM is so intelligent a system. And today, if information security system can be invisible, KM can as well be invisible. Both go actually hand in hand. And therefore, below KM there is an information security backbone. And below information security, there is a KM backbone. That's how all the systems should work in tandem with each other.
Okay. Any other questions?
Very good evening to all of you. Thank you. It's a really wonderful session. Since the topic is expectations gap in the organizations, I'm Pankaj Sharma from Afcon Infrastructure. So we are into infrastructure. So in infrastructure, every project is a giant project because a lot of companies is working in one project, and the project manager itself is a big designation. We have one structure, one is management, another is project management, a team. So generally when we discuss with the team, as an individual, what's your learning in management from this project? So some people are very reluctant to share their knowledge because if they feel that if I share this mistake or this failure, maybe project manager is not happy. So how we can bridge this gap? Can you suggest something on this?
Interesting thing because we went through a similar sort of experience a few years back in my tree, where we had a series of project failures actually. By project failures in the IT industry, these are like they just run for longer and burn people out. So we went through a series of them, and there was this thing about now how do you learn from that, right? So we called it learning from adversity. I think the most important part, and it's a difficult subject in the sense that no organization wants to talk about the failures or the difficulties that you had, right? Not just the organization, but even teams themselves. But I think adversity and difficult times actually offer a lot of learning. So when we did that, we actually went through an exercise and we wrote 3 books about 3 different projects which went through very bad experiences because there's a lot of learning from it. We got our license really from the top management, and I think that's important. That's important that your leadership gives that license to people. I think it has to come down so that people don't feel threatened by failures, that it is okay. So I think we got that license from our management where they said that it is fine to actually talk about this and document it. So I think it really needs to come down from the top, where people need to feel secure about what they do in spite of having made mistakes. So I think that absolutely has to happen. Interestingly enough, when we did that on a different dimension, the customers with whom we did those projects had reservations about sharing that story. So we actually had to anonymize some of it so that the customers' names were not shared. But internally in the organization, we did get the license to do that. And once people knew that it was all right and felt secure about it, then we didn't have an issue.
Can I add one thing? So I'll share one example of Amazon. When I worked for Amazon Web Services, one of the best companies that I worked for culturally, what Ramesh was talking about, that culture of failure is also very important, right? Everything starts from culture. So when I was talking about initially also that the backbone of KM has to be culture, that are we allowing that to happen, right? And
at least I can talk about my AWS tenure, wherein if you fail, the culture was that fail, but fail fast. And if you're failing fast, then talk about it. That this was my plan A. These are the things I did. This is why I failed, and I don't do it. And that's what I think Ramesh was also talking about. So, for your organization specific, obviously, I'm not a KM expert to give you a very specific answer, but the culture of failure needs to be inculcated. We need to encourage, because failure eventually leads to innovation. If you're not failing, we are not innovating. Simple. So that culture needs to be inculcated. That needs to be encouraged, so that people come and talk. And that's where I think KM plays a very important role. That okay, these are the things that we must not be doing. Right? That audit thing that I was talking about. That's exactly what it is. That let's not do that. And so that's extremely critical. But it needs to start with culture.
I see the time is up thing, but Pankaj, I've got a quick answer for you. All right. Firstly, we need to start the non-blaming culture, and I think that's what Vivek was trying to say. Excuse me for my language. I'm going to use a wilder term now. But what you need to Google, my friend, is fuck up nights. Right? It's this session that they call people in who talk about their failures. Google it, and all the info is there on how to learn from failures. Yeah.
Thank you. So what we could do is, the time is already up for the panel. I'm sure there are lots of questions in your mind, but let's give 10 seconds each to the panelists, and if there is one message you want to convey as business stakeholders to the KM practitioners here, what would that be? The one single message.
Yeah, this is going to delay me another 5 minutes. Okay. We all speak a lot. From my side, I feel that all the knowledge management experts here have a big role to play, because the companies are transforming, everyone is moving digital. And for the digital thing to happen, knowledge is very critical, because we are trying to replace the human brain, that is artificial intelligence or whatever you're going to do. The foundation for that is knowledge management. And I think there's a lot of importance going to happen in the near future. Your roles are in the background, as Subhash was mentioning, but in the future it could become glamorous if it is tackled correctly. That's what I see.
Your role as KM people is simple, and we've heard it from the morning. It's about culture, it's about strategy, process, technology, leadership, and the biggest one is about making impact. So go out there and make the impact that you need to do. Thank you.
Quick thing, two things to think about. One is business value. How is KM going to deliver the business value? The second part, I think, which is the encouraging part, is you have a new kind of customer right now, the digital native. And that should be very encouraging for you, and you need to cater to that audience.
On top of what Ramesh, because he talked about the business impact, I'll just add one thing. Start focusing and having an answer ready for what is it for the person that you're going and delivering it for. If I know what is in it for me, I'm with you. Otherwise, it doesn't work, right? So that's what is in it for me, and CKBO is the two things that I will ask you to focus on.
I would say don't look at ROI because investment on KM has nothing to do with returns from KM. Look at the value on opportunities which are available in the organization which KM can create.
Thank you so much to the panelists. I'm sure there were a lot more messages that you have gathered from the conversations that happened. So thank you again, and hope you enjoyed the sessions.
Thank you, everyone. The value of knowledge is more than the ROI. So build a culture of co-creation and a culture of failures. Thank you, everybody. I request Mr. Prakash to present a memento to all our panelists as a token of our gratitude and appreciation. Big round of applause.
was all started in the year 2017. Yeah, 2016 came as well. The game that's a great joined during this during November.
Could we have one momentum for waiting the cast as well? Mother, could you just give us momentum?
So now actually if I have to check, because I'm from a marketing background.
And for the group photograph, the panelists, where do you want? Are they okay where they are? Yeah. Get closer. Yeah. A big round of applause to our panelists and the moderator.